Hello everyone, this is Ngan and
Xuan
and Quynh. Today we will discuss about a very serious social issue. It is violence against women.
Everybody knows slapping is violent, but not many know that insulting somebody backwards is also violent. The United Nations defines violence against women as any act of gender-based violence that results in physical, emotional, or mental harm, including threats of such as coercion or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or in private life. Do you know in the world, 1 out of 3 women suffer from violence during her life? In Viet Nam, 58% of women who have been married or in intimate relationships suffer at least one type of violence. Violence against women consists of 4 main types: physical, emotional, economic, and sexual violence. Physical violence is defined as the use of physical force against women, including slapping, punching, beating, and kicking. This violence can happen both at home and in public. Emotional violence is a form of mental abuse, including scolding, abusing, insulting, disregarding, threatening, isolating, and controlling behavior. Long-lasting domestic cold war is a form of emotional violence. Economic violence is a form of abuse when one intimate partner has control over the other partner's access to economic resources, including prohibiting women to work or controlling her income. Sexual violence is any kind of unwanted sexual behavior towards women, including sexual harassment, sexual rape, and sex trade in order to restrict it from controlling her own body, including access to sexual and reproductive health. Violence against women is a result of gender inequality and a serious violation of human rights. It occurs everywhere, regardless of wealth, and causes severe damages to victims, physical injuries, death, implication, risk of transmitting HIV and sexual transmitted diseases, severe pathological trauma including depression and even suicide force. Violence against women also causes huge loss of women's income and national economy. According to the United Nations, nearly 1/3 of women survivors of violence lose nearly 20% of their monthly income, and estimated loss caused by domestic violence come to more than 3% of Vietnam's GDP in 2010.
While international research indicates that the root cause of gender-based violence is inequality in gender relations, several factors contribute to the severity and frequency of gender-based violence. In this talk, we will mention the 2 most important factors that emerged were economic hardship and alcohol abuse. In many instances, these issues are inexorably linked.
The first reason is economic hardship. It's what a common perception that domestic violence is caused by economic hardship. This opinion appears to be supported by quantitative research, which show correlation between poverty and domestic violence. Better off households are less prone to verbal and physical abuse. The most common explanation is that couples who are struggling to make ends meet are under greater stress. Family conflict usually come from poor families who are faced with a lack of front door and lack of back door. In other words, when your mind is in a puzzle, there's no way out. then it's easy for family conflict to occur when you and your spouse say an inconsiderate word or do a talk-less thing. Education and violent respondents tended to assume that the frequency and severity of abuse is also linked to the educational level of the couple. The higher the education and the lower the rate of verbal and physical abuse. For instance, it seems to be quite a common perception that the Cold War abroad is a more middle-class response to conflict. The women's union representative in the urban quarter of Huế believe that couples with high status and education tackle issues of conflict to discussion, in contrast to families in which the husband had less education and effort to solve problems. Despite the perception, the perception of a correlation between educational level and domestic violence appears to be rooted in the fact that the less educated generally suffer more from day-to-day poverty. In fact, quantitative data indicate that there's no linear relationship between When income levels are accounted for, education level do not appear to be causal factor in the occurrence of physical abuse. However, data indicate that the higher the education of the happens, the higher the trend of verbal abuse, but lower the trend of forced sex.
Alcohol abuse and violent husband habits were a recurring theme and was often linked to violence. It's believed that poor men might drink to forget their problems, and that a husband's use of his family's limited income on alcohol may lead to increase of marital tension. I have an example. There's a couple, Mr. V and Miss S, have been married for 17 years. Mr. V is a worker, and he's a nice man when he's not drunk, but every time he gets drunk, he often humiliates his wife verbally and beats her real bad. There are some figures related to this issue. Drinking habits is higher in rural areas, 53.7%, than in urban areas, 45.2%, and undoubtedly contribute to a downward cycle of poverty. The numbers of women reporting that their husband has a drinking habit were highest in the south, Ho Chi Minh City, and lowest in central Viet Nam, Thừa Thiên Huế. Drinking is generally viewed by men as a normal part of their social responsibility. However, both men and women express disapproval on excessive and continuous drinking, and see link between drunkenness and verbal and physical abuse. Another factor that relates to this is gambling and debt. Habits that can lead to debt, thereby increasing household economic insecurity, are also factors that contribute to domestic tension and violence. Men most commonly go into debt due to gambling habit. 12.5% of women surveyed state that their husband gambled. On the other hand, women are more likely to end up in debt through an informal rotating fund. Debt, economic insecurity, specific economic or social value, jobless, family life is complex. It's not just sex and drinking that upset a couple's life. A husband is not a drinker, and he has a lot of trouble at work. He changed jobs many times and repeatedly disappointed with his work. His wife did not try to understand him, and she accused him for this quickness. Then come their fighting. Gender stereotype and violence personal characteristic was often cited as important factor, leading to violence behavior. These personal traits, in turn, are linked to the gender stereotype and role. For instance, in Vietnamese culture, men are expected to drink socially, to be a breadwinner, and to serve as heads of the household. It is also believed that men have a more uncontrollably temper than women do. Women, on the other hand, are expected to maintain harmony within the family. As parties fulfill their expected role, violent conflict can result, as demonstrated above in instance of alcohol abuse, gambling, debt, and work-related problems. Domestic violence can also occur when cultural stereotypes are challenged. Some men discuss that women are viewed in many instances as responsible for violence that occurs. They agree that many causes of domestic violence were clearly aimed at blaming women for inappropriate action, such as complaining too much, talking too much, or too satisfactorily carrying out wifely and motherly duty. Gender roles are often challenged when the wife is the main breadwinner. Women who are main earners realize and assert their economic roles and are less passive and less tolerant of mistreatment than more traditional wives. Some men whose sense of masculinity is threatened by this way use verbal abuse and physical abuse to maintain their dominance within households. Despite its widespread prevalence, gender-based violence had not just received priority attention from policymakers. An effective advocacy program is therefore needed to heighten the awareness of policymakers at all levels and to create the favorable institutional environments for combating domestic violence. For gender-based inequality and violence to be adequately addressed by policymakers, fundamental change must also be made in the way people view gender roles and gender equality in Vietnam. Nowadays, professional counseling services are currently available only in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. It is therefore recommended that existing centers be better resourced and that counseling services be expanded to all locations in Vietnam. Existing centers may need an active marketing program. The process of expanding counseling services to other places may take time, and special programs for training counselors may be needed before counseling centers can be set up.
As a result of the study has shown, many men and women accept gender-based violence as the norm. Solving family conflict by violence is still considered justified if the woman is at fault. Domestic violence against women is still largely considered a private matter, and there's no sense that women are currently able to take collective action to combat the problem. Although gender equality is guaranteed by the law, many women are nevertheless deprived of the very fundamental right of being respected and physically protected. Women continue to endure violence in silence, in part because of a lack of knowledge about their rights, as well as a lack of public condemnation of all forms of violence. A change in this situation and the creation of a new environment in which all forms of violence against women are condemned would require numerous measures. Foremost among these should be an active awareness-raising campaign in the mass media, as well as awareness drive to community-based activities such as meeting, target, group discussion, and distribution of leaflets. In this awareness-raising campaign, messages should be differentiated by gender, and domestic violence messages should be integrated with broader concept of gender equality as well as the ongoing program for raising public awareness of legal issues. As previously stated, there is no collective action currently being taken to combat gender-based violence. Such as process of empowerment and action may still be a long way off in Vietnam. But a good starting point could be a broad recognition of the core issues and the implementation of the proposed public awareness campaign.
Although a strong social network exists community level within bodies such as the Women's Union and Reconciliation Group, a general lack of gender sensitivity concerning knowledge and skill limits the effectiveness of these institutions. It is therefore recommended that a training program be developed to increase the capacity of the Women Union and Reconciliation Group in the area. It is also recommended that special training workshops be held for court and justice officials at the district level to help them to avoid gender bias in interpreting law and handling. The training program could be organized to initially train a small group of national specialists who would then help to train.
Violence against women remains one of the most pervasive human rights violations, and we both have to take action to stop this. Thanks for your listening.